Welcome back to another episode of Enterprise AI News. I'm your host, Troy Angradon, and I'm here with my co host, Ian Wilson.
Hi there.
So, Ian, I gather we're taking a tour of the Middle East here today to understand what they're doing in AI and trying to bolster their sort of AI national strategies.
Yeah, so we're going to take a bit of a zoom out even from the enterprise scale and look at the national scale.
Okay.
So recently, I've been working a lot with asset managers, investment banks, and sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East, in the GCC region. That's the Gulf Cooperation Council, which is basically the same area. And there's a lot of exciting stuff there and a lot of enthusiasm. And I think it's an area that doesn't get as much news coverage as perhaps it deserves, particularly because some of the more interesting forward-looking stuff comes out of Silicon Valley, New York, London. But while there's an ecosystem of companies building interesting stuff there, it's more. I'm talking to many enterprises that are very keen to get going, catch up with their European, North American counterparts. But there's also a real focus at the national level. So what we see here on this one, Saudi bets big on AI developing local capabilities to disrupt economy. Well, I don't think Saudi Arabia is betting anything, but it's not just Saudi Arabia; it's the whole region. And Saudi Arabia, for example, has a lot of focus nationally to not just bring in companies, not just have these capabilities, but also upscale its population. As does, it says in here, UAE, but I've been working with companies in Oman, Kuwait, Qatar. All of the regions around there have both enterprises looking to invest in AI and some kind of national initiative. So, as an example, Saudi Arabia, it says here, artificial intelligence essential to achieving on 2030 vision, so Vision 2030. So this is a national plan that they've got, and a lot of governments around the world have some kind of national plan for AI, and this is what we do in Saudi Arabia. And this includes a real focus on education. So they're really trying to upskill their entire population with these kind of capabilities. So it's not just a focus on the technology, but it's a focus on making sure they have the skills internally. And they're not just relying on external consultants from different countries to be able to fill those gaps. And of course, they want to move away from a petrochemical economy to a knowledge-based economy. And they see AI as a big driver for that. And again, this is a focus here on Saudi Arabia, but it's not, they're just an example. Most of the countries in that region have something very similar. And it flows over into things like this. That's a really exciting project, which is Neom, a mega city that it's being built, a brand new city they're spending $500 billion, maybe, if they have the money and they can get to do it. But it's going to be a real smart city, very environmentally focused, which seems a bit of a paradox there, but moving in the right direction. A lot of autonomous transport, autonomous vehicles, a smart city where things are controlled, that's being managed by AI. That's a really interesting area in and of itself, the smart city idea, which, of course, is really something that a lot of Chinese companies are really pushing the envelope on. It has both positive and negative connotations, but a lot of it can be just, managing traffic lights, making sure fire services and police can get through, making sure the garbage is collected on time because it's automated, but doing that at a city scale. And this is the kind of area where that Vision 2030 gets played out in real life at a mega city scale. So we've really taken the vision beyond looking at the enterprise to see how does this actually affect a city? How does it affect a country? And that's how important AI is perceived to be, even at the national level. And yeah, interesting to see all of those things that are happening in that region. So if you're interested in a region that's perhaps not as advanced as Europe and North America, but eager to get going, you might want to take a look at the Middle East in a bit more detail. Lots of exciting stuff there. Very eager people to get going.
Yeah, that's one of the things that has always struck me in the conversations you and I have had about the work you're doing over there is the hunger and the aggressiveness to innovate and to bring people in, bring experts in, such as yourself, to upskill their population, whether that's in a bank or a sovereign wealth fund or whatever, where they say we want everybody to be upskilled at the same time. Let's improve our literacy through the entire organization. At an enterprise level or a government level, so that everybody can have better, smarter conversations about what projects they can take on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And their workforce there is generally highly educated, incredibly highly educated, just perhaps not in the tech fields that we've got so much in Europe and North America. So I think that's just the redirection, is pointing all that skill into more tech-focused areas so they can build that knowledge economy away from their traditional petrochemicals. So, win-win on both sides, I think.
It'll be interesting to see what happens and comes from this NEOM smart city. I mean, smart city stuff has been around, Wired, I think that was a Wired article. They've been talking about this stuff for at least a couple of decades. One of the companies I used to work for, they had a whole smart city team, and it was really kind of like the market that never took off, and the team was constantly struggling.
I think that's one of the keys, that the 500 billion price tag.
Oh, it's going to be 5x, 10x that. I mean, that's the starting price, right? So we all know it'll be 10 times higher than that.
I think because it doesn't take off.
That's probably the high watermark of what was politically palatable, but it'll really be 10x that.
How much can I say and get away with?
But those could be real moonshot moments that can really push either push the envelope forward, push the state of the art forward in a whole bunch of fields, or conversely just become a big boondoggle, which is what a lot of the smart cities projects that I've looked at tend to just collapse into boondoggles that never really go anywhere. So it'll be interesting to see.
What excites me about NEOM is it does feel like it's one of those moonshots. It seems like it's one of those stakes in the ground that, following on from this idea they have of Vision 2030, that's what it can look like.
Right.
That will be the North Star. That will be the stake in the ground. Mm-hmm. That's where we bring it all together. Does it all come to fruition? Unlikely. That's an incredibly ambitious idea, but it is a great way to encapsulate the vision in something concrete, rather than just saying we'll do a bunch of training programs and upskilling.
Exactly.
We're going to build a city. Okay.
We're going to build an automated, robotic, AI-enabled city. Yeah, it's definitely it can become a North Star for everything else that happens everywhere else in the region.
Yeah, we'll be interested to follow that.
Excellent. Well, that's it for the Middle Eastern region for today. If you enjoy these quick news updates, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all the usual things. And we'll see you on the next episode.
See you next time.